Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I Want Your Burger, and today I'm bringing you a water type roulette. So I went ahead and caught all 37 available water type Pokemon here in Kanto. This is Pokemon Lazy Green, and I am playing the water monotype mode. Now, if you were around for the first video we did roulette style, we challenged the Elite Four 19 times before entering the Hall of Fame with nothing but normal type Pokemon. It was a lot of fun. You should check that video out if you enjoy this type of content. So, to start things out, we're going to select the first draft to face the Elite Four. Swampert is going to come in spot number 1. I am pleased about this. It's a little bit bulky and it has good attack. Now, Lantern is spot number 2. That is going to bring us a super effective edge against Lorelei. Now, it's going to be a little bit different facing her this time with all water type Pokemon, I will say. Now, we have Crawdon. This is one of the new Pokemon that I'm not so familiar with, so I'm excited to see what kind of moves these Pokemon have and how useful they are on this journey. So spot number 4 is claimed by Cloyster. Number 5, we've got Wailord, and rounding things out, Azumarill. Now, it's time to start spinning some more wheels. Alright, so if you haven't seen the normal monotype roulette video, it's okay. I'll explain to you what's going on here. First and foremost, you're going to see me earn 1 out of a possible 4 rare candies for this trip through the Elite Four. And in the very center, we've got the battle item wheel. I'm going to spin this wheel 5 times. The item it lands on gets eliminated. And that means I can only use the items that remain on this wheel, and I can only take 5 each. That leaves the held items for selection. And yes, the wheel is back. We've got items on here that may prove useful and others that may prove not so useful. But this is the final step. Oh, and did I mention that each of these items must be equipped? There are no exceptions. But hey, sometimes there's not a lot of reward without a little bit of risk from time to time. So, with that, we are going to select the final held items that the team must equip, and we'll take a peek at their stats. But while we do that, I want to say to new and returning viewers, thank you so much for the continued support. I'm having a lot of fun with this, and if monotype playthroughs are your thing, maybe you should check out the Monotype Multiverse playlist on the channel page. They're all a little bit unique. You will find the normal monotype roulette there, and I'm open to suggestions for the next type I play through Kanto with. So let's get into this first battle with Lorelei. So if you're really astute, you might notice that I fed my Lantern Lamp 1 rare candy before this battle with Lorelei, and that's because these rare candies are use it or lose it. They do not roll over into my next run. Now, it does help to level your team up just a little bit from time to time. However, the obedience cap is level 69, so I do have to be careful how many rare candies I feed to my team members. Additionally, in these first few runs, I'm going to start learning a little bit more about these Generation 3 Pokemon. Now, I'm going to let you in on a little bit of a secret. So, for as long as I've been playing Pokemon, I have never finished Generation 3 or beyond. And that is not a lie. So, I am learning more and more about these Pokemon. So Wailord was one of them. I was really surprised at how much damage this thing takes. You know, it's almost taking so much damage that the extra base HP is almost useless. So Pokemon like this, I'm not really sure how to use. Additionally, I will use Crawdon in this battle and forget that, oh, this thing is possibly a dark and water type hybrid. So this battle with Bruno is going to end badly for me. We're just not fast enough, and I'm just not sure what I'm doing with these team members just yet. So that means I am exhausted and I must return to the Indigo Plateau and start spinning the wheel again for draft number 2. This time I'm gonna get it going by flipping for some rare candies. I'm gonna walk away with 4 out of a possible 5 this time and start building my water type team. So that first addition is going to be Seeking, and this one in particular has retained the move Horn Drill, because when you pair that with an X accuracy, it can become a sweeper, provided it can outspeed your opponent. Now, number 2, we have Ludicolo, our grass and water type hybrid, and then number 3, we have Feraligatr. Feraligatr is a pretty decent attacker. It can also learn moves like Earthquake, Bite, Surf, and Ice Beam, to name a few. Okay, so number 4, we have another heavy hitter. This guy is an attacker, Gyarados. Number 5, I'm excited about this one, a Quillfish. Quillfish has a pretty interesting moveset. I'm interested to see how it fares against the Elite Four. Wailord's gonna be number 6, and now it's time to pick some items. Spinning these randomizer wheels for held items and battle items brought a fresh new take on facing these Kanto Elite Four members over and over again. So the teams were changing, their held items were changing, and the items I could use strategically were also changing. So we must be fluid and be like water and seek our level, provided what the Pokemon gods allow. So unfortunately, the last item from the battle item wheel that is eliminated is that X accuracy. So Horn Drill is going to be a little bit of a tougher strategy to pull off, but this time I'm leading with my Quillfish named Pin. Now, Pin has a pretty interesting moveset if you ask me. Revenge is a fighting type move and is going to be super effective against all of Lorelei's ice type Pokemon. That is, at least when Cloyster isn't spamming Protect or diving underwater to avoid damage. However, Quillfish will wind up on top here, landing one final Revenge. And this is going to open up a chance to heal up, as Slowbro cannot do much damage. I took advantage of some of those phasing turns during that bout with Cloyster to raise our defense. But after Yawn is used, I really have to switch out. I decide that Koi is my best option here, and not knowing how close she is to using a full restore, I decide to use Horn Drill. Get lucky this time, but now Jinx starts to slow my roll down. Now, I only have 5 of these awakenings to use, and I know I'm going to use a fair amount during this battle with Lorelei. Now, on many encounters with Lorelei, her Jinx has repeatedly proven to be pretty problematic, especially the times when I wind up having no restorative items to use, like awakenings or full heals or full restores. After all, just about everything was being left up to chance, right down to the team selection. So what more can you ask for in a run like this? I wind up using a lot more items than I cared to versus Lorelei, considering she is the first member of the Elite Four, but Feraligatr is gonna wrap things up nice and clean before we face Bruno. Now this time facing Bruno, I go in with Koi. I feel a little bit more confident with Seeking's speed stat in this situation. And of course, we know the move Horn Drill. It's just a pretty fun move if you ask me. It's a little bit suspenseful, but really gratifying when it pays out. So, that being said, let's circle back to what I mentioned earlier about pairing that move with an X accuracy. Now, if you recall, I can't use X accuracies on this run because I eliminated that item from the battle item wheel. However, in a universe where I can use that item and pair it with Horn Drill, I want to use that at the right time because some items are expensive, and if I don't beat enough Elite Four members, I'm taking a net loss. That's right, I'm losing Pokebucks. I have to at least beat Bruno to walk away with a net gain. But so far this run, it doesn't look like I have to worry about that too much, as Ludicolo jumps into battle and starts heading off with Machamp. That's right, it's going to deal the final blows to Bruno's team. Machamp and his level 54 Onix will go down to the move Surf. Now, Patty here did also learn the move Double Team by TM prior to this battle. Let's not forget, I have free will to teach my Pokemon any move they naturally learn by TM. And I'm going to take advantage of that whenever I can. I will need any advantage possible going forward. Trust me, if you did not see the normal type roulette, just trust me on this one, okay? And that will become ever more apparent when my water type team faces Agatha for the first time in the Monotype Multiverse. Her Pokemon can inflict severe poison. They are also pretty fast, and let's not forget, evasion, evasion, evasion. Gengar can be the most frustrating opponent on her lineup, especially her level 58 one. They only get faster as they grow, and Gengar is a pretty fast ghost. But fortunately, for some odd reason, she decides to use Curse with her final Haunter, and it goes down with one bite, meaning it is time to face Lance. This is an early appearance for Lance compared to the normal Monotype Roulette run, but it ends pretty quickly as well. That just means it's back to the wheel for me, and I'm gonna start spinning with high hopes this time. So the first Pokemon added to the team is Blastoise. Blastoise is known for its high defense, high special defense, and its bulkiness. Now it trades a little bit of its special attack, but this thing functions well as a tank. Seaking makes its next appearance on our lineup, and Feraligatr joins us again. It's starting to look like we've got some heavy hitters on the team until Love Disc is added to the team, and I'm not so sure about this Love Disc. I've got a few TMs in mind for it, but it just may not be so useful. It may not enter the Hall of Fame. We'll just have to find out. All right, Poliwhirl is next, and Poliwhirl is pretty good attacker, I will say. Very effective against Bruno's team, and then Swampert rounding us out with a full team of 6. Time to select those held items and see which battle items will remain on that wheel. As per usual, it is always very sad to see those revives, those full restores, those max potions get eliminated from that battle item wheel. They are very critical to success, and just as I say that, max potion goes bye-bye. But, you know, hopefully we get some lemonades this run. Those aren't quite as effective. They only restore 80 HP, but you know what? It looks like I am lucky I get to keep those on the wheel. So it's about time to finalize this team, lock everything in, and start facing the Elite Four. Are you dizzy yet? But that's part of the fun of these roulette runs so far. Just when you think you're getting closer to your goal, it's back to square one. So here I am, facing Lorelei again. And it got me thinking, it's kind of curious how some of these Pokemon will make repeat appearances on my lineup, but a Pokemon that would be super useful in this battle versus Lorelei, namely Lantern, may only make one appearance, no matter how many times I attempt. When I ran the normal type Pokemon through the Kanto Elite Four, I ran 19 times through the Elite Four and the Champion before entering the Hall of Fame. And through all of those challenges, some Pokemon remained ever unused. However, this lineup of Hall of Fame hopefuls is pretty unique itself. It does star 3 generational starters from 1, 2, and 3 in Blastoise, Feraligatr, and Swampert. That means with a variety of moves like Bite, Earthquake, and Submission, I will be able to take Lorelei's lineup down. However, not without suffering a little bit of loss and a little bit of damage. So, after the battle, I'm going to use a rare candy to revive my Swampert and a full restore to get it back to full health. That's because I didn't spin for any revives this round, but I need Swampert in my battle with Bruno. And I learned my lesson: when you don't get to bring along any revives, and you're flipping for some rare candies, and you have some restorative items, maybe it's a good idea not to use all of your rare candies immediately. In these runs, it was not just what items were left on the battle item wheel, but how and when you used them. I wanted to ration items. However, that did mean at times I would need to sacrifice team members from time to time. They may be useful in one battle and not the next. However, it all depends on a good mix in the end, and this just wasn't it for me. But any setback is a setup for a glow up? I don't remember what Anyway, it's time to draft team number 4. Sharpedo claims spot number 1 on my team, and I am super excited to try this Pokemon out. I don't have a lot of experience with it. Like I said, I've not completed Gen 3 or beyond. Next, I've got Tentacruel on the team. Tentacruel, I've got a special plan for Tentacruel, alright? Just have to wait and see. Now we've got another new one to me, that's Walrein. Ludicolo makes its next appearance on the team at spot number 4, and we have Vaporeon taking spot number 5. I like Vaporeon. Vaporeon is an interesting tank in its own way. Now, I've also got Feraligatr to round things out, and I'm ready to find out what held items and battle items I can take into battle with me. Now, several items on the wheel could be useful. I have Vaporeon, which knows the move Bite, so even items like the black glasses could come in handy just to power up a little bit of the Pokemon's moveset. And as we know, there are plenty of Pokemon in the Elite Four selections that are weak to Dark-type moves. Jinx is the first one. Oh, well, I guess Slowbro is as well. They're both psychic types, so they would take extra damage if I equip the black glasses on my Vaporeon. But time will tell what is left on the battle item wheel and what items I will be able to take. Now, I don't get any revives this run, so if I want to save some rare candies, I gotta consider that now, right? But I do have some lemonades and some full restores, so those will be very useful in the few battles ahead. But I'm feeling confident with this lineup, and Sharpedo is my lead Pokemon this time. Now, surprisingly, to me at least, Sharpedo learns Earthquake, and since that's a physical move, it pairs well with Sharpedo's high attack stat. So we'll start working our way through Lorelei's team, and hopefully I can keep my Sharpedo alive because Earthquake will also be very handy against Agatha's Arbok. Arbok later is a bit speedier than most of my lineup and is weak to Earthquake, so that's the plan. Remember, I don't have any revives this run. Now, I can reserve a few rare candies and some full restores for a last-ditch effort to restore my Pokemon to 100% health, but that means I have to play my cards very carefully going forward. After all, there was still Bruno in the way of Agatha. And this time, I'm not playing with Lorelei. Always putting my Pokemon to sleep, I decided to equip Sharpedo with that Chesto Berry. Now, of course, I only get one of those, but I do have some awakenings. I'm limited at 5, but I'm going to take the opportunity to wake Sharpedo up as she uses a full restore. And now, it's time to bring it home. At the outset of the battle, I decided to use an X attack on Mandible, my Sharpedo, and I didn't let it go to waste. Sharpedo ends up going down, and I decide that later I would just have to revive it with a rare candy after battle. Because my Feraligatr can clean this up easy. We've got Earthquake on the moveset now, just to back up Mandible, and success. We defeat Lorelei, and it's on to Bruno. Time to restore my team. Now, after the battle with Lorelei, I think Mandible deserves a little bit of rest, so leading into my battle with Bruno, I'm going with my Tentacruel, Jello. Now, Jello knows the moves Toxic, Acid, Barrier, and Bubble Beam, so I think it's going to be a good way to lay some heavy damage on Bruno's fighting and Rock-type Pokemon and sustain itself for a little bit, because I do have a few lemonades I can use. Unfortunately, my plan backfires. Let's not forget how critical hits work. Fortunately, Mist, my Vaporeon, is a good tank option for this battle. Now, it doesn't know any water-type moves, it does know ice moves, which is going to lend it some versatility versus those dragon-type Pokemon later, but it also has good bulk, good defense, good special defense, and by knowing the move Acid Armor and Sand Attack becomes a great way to stall out on Bruno's fighting type Pokemon. They just can't hit my Vaporeon, and before too much longer, Aurora Beam takes down his final Pokemon Machamp, and it's on to Agatha. Agatha's Gengars are pretty speedy, but Mandible outspeeds her first Gengar and is able to take it down with one crunch. I don't want to risk Mandible against this Golbat, so I switch into my Walrein and use Ice Ball. Now, Ice is going to be super effective against this Golbat and has an effect with cumulative damage. Now, I'm hoping it's going to slap Arbok in the face pretty hard, but it's not going to be enough. And unfortunately, Tusk is going to get poisoned and finally go down to one more Sludge Ball. This is Mandible's chance to outspeed Arbok and take it out with a Earthquake before falling asleep against her fastest Gengar yet. Agatha is not slowing up on me though yet, and she manages to poison Mandible. It finally goes down to that final bit of poison damage, and unfortunately I have to switch out. Feraligatr goes in, still knowing the move Bite, and I'm confident without her full restores at hand, this is going to be pretty quick, because once again she decides to use Curse with her Haunter, and it's over pretty quick, leaving the door open to Lance. Since I've either run out or am running low on restorative items, I have to be careful with this battle because Lance this time around and his Gyarados are going to be pretty problematic. Despite my attempts to lower its accuracy with repeated sand attacks, it still manages to take out Feraligatr with its Hyper Beam. I tried to switch out and use its Slash, but it wasn't effective. So Mist jumps back in to handle all of Lance's dragons with Aurora Beam before finally facing his Aerodactyl. Now, I have a little bit of a beefed up defense using Acid Armor. Unfortunately, Ancient Power crits, and that leaves me with Patty. This is very scary, and a crit lands me an incredible win. It's on to Hot Dog. I don't know how far we'll get with this one Pokemon, but it's worth a shot. There's only one way, and that's forward. Pidgeot is his first team member out as usual, but this time Patty knows the move Ice Beam, and with one hit, a crit, it goes down. Now, he does have a Charizard, and this is where it ends unfortunately for Ludicolo here. That one sand attack was enough to reduce my accuracy, just enough to where we could not succeed. And now, it was time to draft team number 5 at Indigo Plateau. Our trusty Vaporeon winds up on the team first. Once again, I am very happy about this, followed by Gorbis. I'm also going to flip for a total of 3 rare candies. The coins are worth a little bit of a different value this time around. They are worth a range of 2 to 6, so those are going to be somewhat beneficial to use. But looking at the lineup so far, I'm a little bit uncertain about how much they're gonna help, so I may decide to just give them to Mist if I'm gonna be totally honest. Time to get some items in the bag before we lock things in. I didn't find any other items that were available to add to the wheel, so I just decided to keep the items pretty similar to what was in the normal Monotype Roulette. Now, I will say, for that Monotype run, those items on the wheel did offer a lot more versatility for the normal type Pokemon because they learned a wide variety of moves. However, the leftovers, I'm happy to see those. I'll get everything attached to my Pokemon. Now, the leftovers I did really like on Mist because Mist is pretty tanky, and in Hail, it almost negates the damage from that hazard, so it has proven useful in my battles versus Lorelei. Now with Gloves back on the team, it's time to exploit Lorelei's fighting type weakness. Now I do have some lemonades at my disposal, so I'm going to try and offset some of that recoil damage by restoring my Poliwrath using those items. And I'm also going to try to take advantage of Sandra's, that's my Gorbis here, the ability to pass off raised stats using the move Baton Pass. I'm hoping that the effects of agility will boost Mist's chances of landing a crit as soon as I can land a bite, that is. Now that means that I have to keep my Vaporeon awake, and I have only 5 awakenings at my disposal, so I'm hoping for at least a flinch if I can't get a crit. Now, her Jinx is a female and my Mist is a male Vaporeon. That means I'm also susceptible to her move Attract. And if you ask me, Attraction is worse than Paralysis. After a little bit of back and forth, the Sand attack was finally starting to work, and we did manage to crit on that final bite versus her Jinx. This meant that Lapras was the last Pokemon on her lineup standing in the way between us and Bruno, and her Lapras did not go down easy. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a way to cure Sandra, my Gorbis, of its paralysis. The wheel just wasn't so gracious this run, so I'm gonna wind up sacrificing it to Bruno first things first, because I do have some revives in my bag. Now, let's talk about Phoebus a little bit here. Yes, you may already know that Phoebus is one of the most feeble Pokemon, very similar to Magikarp, and I was really looking forward to its evolution, Melodic. Unfortunately, after I reached out to the ROM creator Senior Mankey on Reddit, they discovered that the evolution Melodic just was overlooked for the last update. So in the very near future, there could be the addition of Melodic. So if you're wanting to try this ROM hack out, Pokemon Lazy Green yourself, there is something to look forward on that front. That being said, Phoebus was not a very helpful addition to this team, and I wound up with another weird fish named Love Disc, and that was also very unfortunate. It was not a good mix this time, and Bruno bested me, so I returned to Indigo Plateau to draft team number 6. First things first, I'm stuffing 3 rare candies into my pack, and I'm gonna add Gloves to the team. Gloves is my Poliwrath, once again to the team, but this time in spot number 1. Followed closely after by Swampert. We've got some heavy hitters so far, so who's number 3? It's Kingdra. Kingdra has some dragon-type moves, could be very useful against Lance if we get that far. Next, we've got Ludicolo once again. Now, Ludicolo's interesting. It has some good special attack, but who it's effective against is sort of limited, let's just face it. We've got Quillfish in spot number 5. Now, Quillfish has been very useful versus Lorelei, and Pelipper makes its first appearance rounding out the team. It's time to get some held items and battle items and prepare ourselves for the battle ahead. This time before I jump into battle, I'm going to feed some rare candies to my Quillfish. Just give it a little bit of a boost in terms of stats here, and I'm really hoping that I don't get phased out by this Cloyster too much. If Revenge hits, it could be a one-shot kill. Now, I've also taught this thing a Shadow Ball, and that means it's going to be effective against Slowbro and Jinx. But once Lapras joins the party, I am frozen for a very long time before I thaw out, break through confusion, and land one good hit before having to swap out to Swampert and claim a win versus Lorelei. Bruno's next, and Pelipper is in the front of my mind. I taught it Ice Beam to handle these Onix, and it's just fast enough to land some heavy hits before it does go down. Now, I'm gonna have to plan to revive this thing at some point because I will need it against the rest of these fighting type, but for now, I need to do what I can with the Pokemon that are still alive. Now, Hypnosis doesn't stick very long, but it's just long enough for me to jump back in with Pelipper and hit one more fly, taking out Bruno's Hitmonlee. So before we go too much further, let's take a brief look at how far these teams have gotten us so far. So we've already made 5 runs and we're underway with run number 6. So I'm curious to know, how many more do you think I'm gonna have to run before I enter the Hall of Fame? Pelipper's flying type did not really help it too much in this battle, so Ludicolo had to step in, and with its high special, managed to take out Machamp and Onyx yet again. Now it's off to face Agatha, and this time it's a little bit different. Now that Pin knows Shadow Ball, we start ripping through her entire team. But when Agatha's Gengar finally hits with Hypnosis, it's time to switch out. I'll get lucky and hit with Hydro Pump a couple of times before Swampert comes in to clean up with Earthquake. Now we're off to face Lance once again. But facing Lance this time is a little bit scary because Pin leads the charge and is asleep. However, miraculously, it wakes up before taking a Hyper Beam to the face. And then Sails does, and then Gloves does, and then Swampert just can't range with Takedown. It is just unlucky. Until Kingdra steps in and starts hacking through Lance's dragons. But despite its best efforts, I wind up back at Nurse Joy's counter, wondering, how many more times will I have to do this? Keep your chin up, Tiger. Let's start spinning some wheels. This time I've got 2 rare candies to feed my team members at will, and I'm gonna add Golduck to the team first. I don't think Golduck has been on the team just yet. Kingdra appears another time, and of course our friend Phoebus winds up on the lineup. Once again, I can't believe it. Is this Doom? I'm not sure, but maybe we have some new faces here to turn the tides of battle in Starmie and Omastar. And then Kingler comes back for another showdown with the Elite Four. Are we ready this time? No, not just yet. We've got to figure out what items we can take with us and plan how to use these rare candies before doing battle. This time, I'm not playing around with Lorelei, so I pop in X accuracy right away. There's no sense in hoarding these things. I don't care how expensive they are, because in Starmie, we've got a true contender versus her water-type teams. It learns moves like Thunder and Psychic, making it very versatile. Let's not forget, it has very good special offenses and high speed as well. As soon as her Pokemon try to put mine to sleep, I check who is carrying that Chesto Berry. That's right, I was lucky enough to spin and claim a Chesto Berry to hold. Gave it to Omastar here, and it's gonna eat it right away, just in time to take out Slowbro with its move Bite. Now, if I can stay awake long enough, I'm gonna try and take this Jinx down in the same fashion. But unfortunately, Attract is, once again, I think, worse than Paralysis. Pinch, my Kingler steps in to claim the victory. And in between the battle with Bruno, it's time to heal up my team as best as I can. Starting things out with Bruno, Golduck goes in because it knows some water type and less effective psychic type moves, that being Confusion. Now, unfortunately, it does not learn Psychic, but Starmie does. So before the battle, I did trade Thunder for Psychic, and I start ripping through Bruno's team. In a matter of minutes, it's time to face Agatha yet again. But Mallardy is a new Pokemon and has new moves, and I'm gonna use Psych Up to boost my evasion and steal it from her Gengar and see how she likes it this time. It works long enough for me to take her Gengar down and avoid some air cutters, which is honestly kind of impressive. It does tout a pretty high accuracy rate after all. Golduck was surely impressive before taking that last painful bit of poison damage and going down, clearing the way for Starmie to come in with Psychic and one-shot Agatha's 2 remaining Pokemon. Now, Starmie is putting in a lot of work on this run, and it's not done yet. That's right, I'm maintaining my aggressive outlook, and as soon as I jump into battle, I'm boosting its special offenses with an X special. I can worry about accuracy later if necessary, but I I won't have to for now. Ice Beam is much more reliable. As long as I can one-hit these heavy-hitting dragons, I should be in good shape going forward. And things were looking good so far. Fortunately, I can rely on Ice Beam for much of this battle. But I've only got 10 power points, that's right, and I'm burning them up pretty quick in this battle, and I need more Ice Beam to face Hot Dog. So I'm gonna get creative here and burn up a junk TM and then teach a fresh Ice Beam TM to my Starmie before the battle. That's right, I'm not gonna rely on Thunder to deal with this Pidgeotto, even though I know it's not gonna one-hit, but it's somewhat okay as I don't take damage, but my accuracy is hampered a bit by Sand Attack. Fortunately, I do have X accuracy at my disposal, and I plan on using those to my full extent. We are this close to the finish line, I am not giving up just yet. Gyarados dodges the first Thunder, but not the second, and quickly goes down. Hot Dog's Exeggutor comes out next, and I am staying as aggressive as possible here. He's not using any full restores just yet, and when his Alakazam comes out, I am thrown for a little bit of a loop. Starmie does not have any super effective moves against Alakazam, and I don't want to lose all of the power-ups that I've used on it thus far, so I'm going to do my best to crack off a recover, and fortunately, Alakazam used Future Sight. Had it used Psychic that turn, Starmie would have immediately been knocked out. Now I can just try to hit with something before... goodness. It appears that this Phoebus will serve a purpose after all. Let's not downplay it. If that's what it means, Phoebus will go down in history for its sacrifice. But I have to be careful here as Alakazam is setting up Future Sight attacks. And since I only have Revives, Gem could fall to one Future Sight attack. So I recalibrate and pinch is successful. Guillotine takes Alakazam out, but Future Sight is still on its way out, so I have to be careful here. How much damage can I lay on this Charizard before things go sideways? Kingler goes down valiantly, and now Beamer is in. It's no holds barred. We just need to hit with one Hydro Pump, and there you have it, folks. The Water Monotype Hall of Fame. We are moments away from entering them into the Hall of Fame and memorializing them forever. And if you made it this far, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe if you are so inclined. Peace.